Hey farm and garden friends, today we're going to go over 10 crops you can plant in August to ensure an epic fall harvest. Alright, so it's the first week of August, basically the middle of summer. You spend all spring planting and planting, now you're reaping the rewards and hopefully harvesting a bunch of great fruits and veggies out of your gardens. However, we are at that point where some of our crops are pretty well done for the season, or at least winding down. So then we're basically left with two choices. We can either plant it out again or put that bed to rest and thank it for its service for the season. If you've been following our channel at all, you know we're all about maximizing space in the garden, and that includes time in the garden. So we're definitely not just going to put these beds to rest already. We are going to plant another round of crops in to ensure we got an epic harvest here in a month or two. So seeing as how we're going to do that today anyway, thought I'd take you guys along, show you what you can plant and how we're going to get it in the ground. So for those of you who just want the information as to what crops you can plant in August, I'm going to give that to you right now. And then we're going to go out and I'm going to show you how we get these crops planted. So the first one we're going to plant, spinach. It's about a 30-day crop, so that'll work out very well. Because the second one we're going to do is lettuce. We're actually going to transplant our lettuce out into about a bed and a half over here. We've got some that we started 30 days ago, and we're going to transplant it out today, as well as seed another batch of trays for that. But what's going to go in the bed with this is we are going to do some tender sweet carrots. I think we're actually going to mix it up and do some tender sweet and some sugar snacks. So those will be delicious here about the middle of October. And then of course we're going to plant some more kale. We're going to do some red Russian kale and some lacinato kale, along with some rainbow Swiss chard. We haven't grown any Swiss chard yet this year, so we're going to do a round of rainbow Swiss. And of course, fall planting wouldn't be complete without some radishes. So we're going to plant some sparkler radishes this time around. And then the other thing we're going to plant is cucumbers. I love cucumbers. I just did a video on trellising cucumbers. Those are coming in great. I think we harvested about a bushel of cucumbers today, so a whole bunch of them. But we're going to plant another route of cucumbers over where I had my snap peas. There's a trellis system already there, so it'll work out perfect. I think we're going to do we'll probably do half slicers, and we may even do, I think, about half that bed in Boston pickling. Now, of course, we are going to plant another round of Blue Lake pole beans. We're just starting to harvest our pole beans for the season now, but we're going to do another round and those will be ready in about 60 days. And we're also going to do some Sugar Daddy snap peas. And then the last crop we're going to grow is actually an herb, and we are going to plant some basil. We're going to do some lemon basil and some sweet basil, so we can dry some basil for the winter. So those are the 10 crops we're going to plant, and you can plant as well. There's plenty of time. All of these crops, minus the carrots. The carrots are going to be about 75 days, so they should put us in the middle of October. Middle to end of October, those will be perfect. And everything else is either a 30 or 60, 65 day crop. So we've got plenty of time to grow this stuff, so let's get at it. All right guys, so like I said before, the first thing I'm going to plant out is my spinach, and we are going to go with a caramel Savoy spinach from Johnny's and the lizard hybrid spinach smooth leaf from Johnny's as well. I've got this one in the earth wales already, and then we'll lay down a row of that. What I'm going to do is plant 2 rows of spinach on the right hand side of this bed, because my lettuce is going to go there and it'll just work out great for harvesting. So I've already got the caramel put in the earthway, so I'm going to put down a row of that, and then I will put in the other seed and get that laid out. All right, so the second crop we're going to lay down is our carrots. It's a great companion for the spinach. The spinach will be harvested off it, about a month earlier than the carrots will be ready, so that'll work out really well. We're going to be planting sugar snacks, from Johnny's and Tender Sweet from Mountain Valley Seeds. So I've grown both of these this year, and delicious, delicious carrots. I actually think I'm going to do 3 rows in this bed. So I'll have 3 rows of carrots and 2 rows of spinach. All right, so our carrots and spinach are planted. Lettuce is gonna go here. I think I'm gonna reserve this bed for that pumpkin plant. And then the back half of this bed is still carrots. But the front half, I'm gonna do 2 rows of kale and then a row of bunching onions that I have started in a tray. So this time around, we're gonna plant some lacinato kale from Mountain Valley Seeds, and some red Russian kale from Mountain Valley Seeds as well. All right, so you can see we got our kale laid down. We've got our bunching onions here ready to be transplanted, and that's what'll go in there. And we may fit in a few extra lettuce heads that we've got. And then here you can see we've got our trays of Salanova lettuce ready to be transplanted. I'll do a time lapse on that simply because it takes quite a long time. So we'll come back and do this one probably last on the list. So right now, we're gonna grab our cucumber seeds and come on over here. So we are going to plant our cucumbers right down through here, 12 inches apart, so they can be trellised on these lines. And that's right where the snap peas just came out of. I've got carrots growing in it, and those will be harvested probably in a few weeks. All right, so next on the list is our cucumbers. And like I said before, we're going to do half a bed in our slicing cucumbers. We're going to do the Marketmore 76 from Johnny's. And then I'm going to do the other half of the bed in Boston pickling cucumbers from Mountain Valley Seeds. So these I'm going to plant by hand about 1 foot apart. All right guys, just like that, we've got a 50-foot bed laid down of cucumbers. We will have plenty of cucumbers going into the late fall. Those will be ready in about 60 days, and I for one can't wait. All right, so now the next one we're gonna do is in this bed of cabbage. If you see, we've got cabbage planted down the middle already, transplanted and started. And I think we're gonna do Swiss chard down the right side, and I'm gonna do pole beans down the left side. I've got the trellis line up there that I can run my pole beans on. So let's get after it. All right, so again, the 2 crops we got planted in this bed along with our cabbage now are our rainbow Swiss chard and our Blue Lake pole beans. So we'll get some water on these buggers and get them germinating onto the last few crops. All right, out of the radishes now. We're going to the sparkler radish from Mountain Valley Seeds. And I think I'm gonna do 1 row of these right down the middle between our kale and the bunching onions that we're gonna put in. And those all grow great together, so that'll work out just fine. All right guys, that's just gonna about wrap it up for this block of beds. We've still got some basil to plant and some snap peas to plant, but we're gonna do that over in the little hoop. So let's get at it. All right guys, so the last two crops we're gonna plant out today to round out our list of 10 is basil and then our snap peas. So I'm gonna plant basil down that side of the bed, and then I'm gonna do my snap peas down this side of the bed, and I've got this trellis line above that'll work perfect when those start coming up. So that is what we're going to do. We're planting some lemon basil from MI Gardener, and we are planting some sweet basil. All right guys, so our last crop on our list of 10 crops to plant in August for an epic fall harvest is our Sugar Daddy snap peas from Mountain Valley Seeds. All right, so we've got all our direct seeded crops put in. The only thing left to do is transplant out our bunching onions and our Salad Nova salad mix. Now I think what I'm actually gonna do is just do a separate video transplanting those out tomorrow, just so this one doesn't run on a little bit too long. But essentially what we're gonna do is I think I've got enough room to do 2 rows of bunching onions, and we space those 6 inches apart, and I'll stagger those. And as always with my Salad Nova salad mix, those get put in 4 rows, 6 inches apart. Like I said, we'll do a separate video on those when we transplant those later today or tomorrow. So to recap, 10 crops to plant for an epic fall harvest. We planted carrots, spinach, we're doing lettuce, bunching onions, radishes, kale, Swiss chard, pole beans, cucumbers, and then in the small hoop, we've got our snap peas. That makes 10, and we'll round out 11 with an herb when we planted basil. So let's get to planting, guys. The season's only half over. Now, if you've stuck around this long, hopefully you've gotten something out of this video. And if you haven't yet, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps the channel out a lot, and we are on our sprint to 1,000 subs. So keep an eye out for the video where we transplant out our salad mix and our bunching onions, and make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Until then, we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah!